Okay, next step then is to undo the tape that was taping this plastic wallet down, and just flip it over. By now it'll be dry. If it's not, it's all right, because you've got your kitchen towel underneath, or newspaper, whatever it is. And yeah, you need to put that back underneath the tape. So here comes our second colour, and because I started off with warmer colours like that for my first print, I'm now switching to cooler colours. So I've got a blob of green here. This time, instead of putting it in the tray, I just wanted to show you what it's like when you put it directly onto the plastic wallet. So I've got a little blob of paint here, and if you're working in a classroom, teachers, I would do this bit yourself, because you don't want too much or you don't want too little. And I would just give them one colour, whichever is the lighter colour that they're using first. So I'm going to use blue and green. So the green's a bit lighter. I'm just going to use the green first, and we're going side to side, and we're not trying to go really fast. I'm doing it nice and gently. I don't have to go to the very edges, it's fine. Just near the edges is enough. I'm just trying to make sure there's not too many white bits. If there are some, it's all right. It provides a nice texture. Okay, so I'm just going about, as you can see, I've gone about halfway up there with that green, and then your teacher will come around and give you a blob of blue. There we go, a blob of blue. And I'm not going to clean the brush. You could if you wanted to. I'm just going to let whatever green is on the brush mix a little bit with the blue. It will change it a little bit. Now it's at this stage that often what you find is people just go over the whole thing then. And if we want to go from dark to light, meaning that we've got a change in tone here from a darker tone to a lighter tone, we don't want to do that. So I would just ask the children to do the dark colour first, the lighter colour first, and then the dark colour, and where they meet, just leave that for a moment, and then get yourself a paper towel or kitchen roll, and I'm just going to kind of pinch it, squeeze it, and get most of the paint off there. There you go. There's most of the paint there that was on the brush is now off. And then where the two meet, then I'm gently just going to go side to side together like that. And there you go. You can create a graded tone, I mean it goes from dark green to a lighter green, just like that, okay? Without having to wash your brush. What you don't want to do is put it in water, because then it dilutes the paint too much, and it might not print as well. But you could use water as well in general. With this technique, you could use watered down paints. You'll get different effects. The paint will be lighter. Okay, so with that one then, I think all I'll do is I'll just take the brush for a walk a little bit. I'm going to pinch off some of that paint again, so I don't make it too light. And go into the lighter bit. There we go. And we'll see how that turns out. I could draw into it if I want, but drawing into it with the end of your brush, it doesn't turn out as well if you just paint it on, because the paint is quite a bit thicker. If you want to draw into it with the end of the brush, I suggest using a roller to roll it out instead. Okay, so your next step is to get your stencils. So these stencils, basically, they're going to block. All they're going to do is they are going to block. They're going to block that green paint from getting onto the orange layer, basically. So I haven't tried with these leaves before. I'm going to use them as if they're like kind of coral or seaweed, making it look like the shark is near the seabed there. Try and spread the leaves out a little bit so the paint can get between them and get some nice shapes. I've done that one upside down, haven't I? Well, that doesn't matter. Okay, this one's a bit of a gamble. I'm going to take the leaves off this one actually, because I think the stalk is a bit thick. So we'll see if this works or not. With printing, it's often a bit of a mystery, a bit of trial and error going on, and you don't know how it's going to turn out. So it can be a surprise. Okay, and then there we go. We get this one. Our first layer. It's nice and dry now, and we're going to place it on top. Again, we're not being too precious about lining it up. We're getting it roughly in the right place. Okay, and with this one, you definitely need to roll it, because you've got all those stencils on there, and the roller helps you to get in between all the gaps. When you're rolling it, you'll be able to feel the stencil underneath. And like I say, you don't know how these things are going to turn out. It's trial and error, meaning that you try it out, see how it looks, and then you think, well, what would I change next time? And there is a next time, isn't there? Because you did 2 of your first layer, so you can have a go twice, can't you? And you can use the same stencils twice as well, as long as they don't rip when you're getting them off again. There we go. So I've gone both ways in both directions. I've tried my best. There you go. There's a bit of paint that was on my fingers there. To get into all the gaps. Use my fingers as well. Right, and as with the first layer, sneak a peek, see how it's looking.
Okay.
Oh, it's pretty interesting. Let's have a look. Now, if it starts to stick a bit too much, and you're thinking, are you worried about ripping the paper, go to the opposite side and pull from there. Okay, let's have a look at this. Wow. So, it's covered, the darker paint has covered really well up here, hasn't it? But not so well around here. You can see the streaks of the brush marks there, which I like a lot. But we haven't got a nice clean line, have we, around the stencils, around the shapes. So I like it, but I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to give that another go. So to have a second go at that then, what we're going to need to do is get the stencils off. So what I've done is I've just taken the plastic wallet out from underneath the masking tape there, and I'm just going to bend it slightly, and then you should be able to get part of the stencil off that way, and then do it very slowly. Easy to rip these things. Just peel it off nice and slow, and hopefully you can get it all off in one piece. And what you should find is that you've got some really interesting patterns on your shark there. Look at that. Doesn't that look great? Okay, and I'll show you how you can reuse this at the very end. But yeah, we can reuse it for to do the same thing again. But you can use it when you're finished with it as well. I'll show you how to do that at the end. Okay, so take that off. Same with the leaves then. I've got to go nice and slow. Okay, so I'll roll out a bit of blue. And you know what? I'm just going to roll out that blue only on the top half of the tray. And put a bit of white on the bottom half. Okay, so it's already got paint on it. It's still a bit wet. Doesn't matter. We're just going to reuse it straight away. And we're getting it nice and flat. No big blobs there. Okay, so there's a bit of that. And next, I'm going to get the white. Do you know what? I'm going to put a little bit of white just straight on. Do it this way. It'll mix a bit with the green. Oops, but I don't mind. And I've got blue on the roller. It'll mix with the white. It's fine. You want to avoid it being too white, because if it's really white, none of the shapes that you've done will come out. Right. So next I'm going to put my shapes back on. Now, I could put it down that way. I could put it down the same way it was before, or I could change it and put it down the other way. So I think I'll put it down the other way and see what happens. Okay, so the other way, that'll be upside down. You don't want an upside down shark. This way. Right, so I'll put it up a little bit higher this time. There it is. Press it down. Okay, so I have my second sheet, didn't I? So I'm going to give that one a go now. You decide which way up you want it. Do you want it that way up with the orange at the top and the yellow at the bottom, or do you want it that way up? So I'm going to go this way up, so the orange is more towards the top. Do you know what? I've changed my mind. I want the orange towards the bottom because I know the orange is a complementary colour of the blue, meaning that placed next to each other, they make each other stand out more and be more bold and vibrant. Okay, so again, I'm getting the roller. And this time, I'm just going to do one roll. And I'm going to check it first and see how it looks. After just one roll. If it looks fine, oh look, it's not bad. Right, it's a bit, I don't know if you can see that, a bit by the shark there, shark fin. It's not really clean lines there. But the leaves have turned out a lot better. Right, let's just see what happens when I put it back down. I know it'll go back in the same place because I haven't peeled the whole thing off. Or it should do anyway. Let's see what happens if I roll even harder. So I only rolled once over the whole thing and I went that way. So I'm going to go this way. I'm going to roll harder. I don't know if that makes it better or worse. Let's see. We only learn these things by trying them out. There you go. Let's see how that looks now. Pretty much the same. Didn't make much difference. But I think hopefully you'll agree that is a much better result there. I'll just peel this off. Oh, look at that. That's turned out all right as well. Look at that. All right, so that's a much better result there. Right, let's compare it to the other one. Got our sharks going in two different directions. So you can see second time around, we got cleaner lines just by rolling it out, by rolling out the second layer, which was the blue layer. So rolling out the second layer, we got better edges. It's still not great on the shark there, but never mind. It's good on the leaves, but not so good on the shark. It could be that I need to use slightly thinner card for the stencil for the shark. So I'll try that next time and see if that works. Okay.